Hello again. This is probably going to be quite rushed, but I will try not to make it too rushed. I was really unsure about what I wanted to talk about this week, because let's face it, the only thing I really want to talk about, if I'm completely honest, is the same thing I've been talking about on everything else, which is supernatural. But whilst thinking about that, I kind of came up with something else, and that is spoilers. Yeah, spoilers. People's attitudes to what is considered a spoiler, because really the definition of a spoiler is something that is when something is spoiled for you, something that piece of information that you don't want to know about, because you know it's going to ruin your enjoyment of something, like a book, TV show, movie, just anything really that you don't want to know what it is. And some spoilers are like. Some things you can't consider spoilers because they're just so well known in pop culture that it's impossible for you not to know. Like, for example, everybody knows who Luke Skywalker's father is. I'm not going to say, even though everybody should know that, because it's just so well known. Whereas other things aren't. So, and because of that, it's a bit hard to judge what some people would consider a spoiler and others wouldn't. Because some things are so old that you're thinking, well, that's been on for years, you must know something about that. You can't expect to not know anything. And some people like having things spoiled for them, or don't care at least, you know, because it's like they're so curious, it gets the better of them and they just find out whatever they can straight away before, before they've read the book, or before they've seen the movie, or before they've seen the TV series. My personal opinion is these days I don't like anything being spoiled for me. I would rather wait until I see it, read it, or whatever. And the reason being is because when I was younger, I was the most curious person when it came to things like Buffy. Buffy is my best example. I basically read everything about what was going to happen in Buffy before I saw it, more or less. I mean, the earlier seasons not so much, but definitely in the later seasons, like from about series 4 onwards. I even knew how it was all going to end before I actually saw it. And I regret that now, because there are certain reactions you get from watching things that you just don't get from reading a synopsis of an episode. Like, shock of not when something happens. That anxiety you get when you're not quite sure if everything's gonna go alright. And that, I suppose, is a shock as well, but that surprise when something just comes out of the blue and you don't see it coming, and it's just like, you know, you just don't get that from reading a synopsis. Maybe some people do, I don't know, but I don't see how you can. And that is why I don't read, I try not to read any spoilers. Sadly though, my curiosity does get the better of me sometimes, and I want to know, I want to read, but I have to be careful. With Supernatural, I got lucky that I knew nothing about it. I literally knew nothing about it when I first started watching it. And thankfully, I didn't learn too much to start with. Nowadays, okay, a few things have been spoiled, some by accident by people, some because of my own curiosity, but mostly I have had those reactions. I think my favourite reaction is when you don't see something coming. Like something happens in the first series that I knew something was coming, but I didn't know what. And when it happened, I was literally like, you know, and you just don't get that reaction from reading things. And I'm so glad I got to have that reaction. I still do. Supernatural is really good at sort of having things happen completely out of nowhere and you just don't see it coming. And I've even cringed more at this show, which is actually not a bad thing because of some of the things they do. But yeah, so in summary, these days I go out of my way I try to go out of my way not to have things spoiled for me, even though there is still that gnawing curiosity there that kind of gets in the way. But I'm curious to know what other people think about this, whether you are one of these people who just don't care and you still enjoy a show even if you know everything's going to happen, or if you're someone who's like, no, don't want to know a single thing. So let me know. And Christina, I'll see you on Friday.